Now, WJC's Purple Playbook brought to you by M&T Bank.
And this is Purple Playbook. I'm Alex Glaze, joined as always by two-time Super Bowl champion Torrey Smith. A lot to get to this week. A big game on Sunday against the Vikings.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a lot. The sun is shining a little brighter on Baltimore these days. You know, Lamar's back. Team comes up. Feels good to be up here talking after a win. And, we're excited to see where this team goes from here.
Definitely a different energy. You can feel that also when you're out at practice. The Ravens getting ready to continue their road trip in Minnesota. But before we get to that game, I want to talk about the moves that the Ravens made ahead of the trade deadline. Baltimore sent a conditional fifth-round pick to Tennessee in exchange for linebacker Dre'Mont Jones. Jones bringing some much-needed pass rush to help a Baltimore defense. The total just 11 sacks this season, tied for second fewest in the NFL. Only the Jacksonville Jaguars have fewer with 10. Here's Jones describing the type of player he is.
Somebody who physical as hell, who's going to attack every play like it's the last, and we're going to go out there and just try to kill or be killed.
Kill or be killed? I mean, that's got to be music to Ravens fans' ears to hear that kind of mentality coming back to Baltimore.
Type of guy that fits what it's like to be a Raven. The Ravens aren't known to really trade for many people in general, especially during the season. And now you have a guy that comes in, feels the need, right? The need for a pass rusher has been evident since day one of this season. And to have a guy come in, bringing that type of energy, matching the mentality, and understanding where this team is trying to go, I think he's going to be ready to roll. What people don't realize is when someone trades for you, that means they view you like the missing link. And there's a certain type of pride and edge that you're taking yourself and saying, like, hey, I have to take my game to the next level because these people here believe that I'm going to be the one that's going to be able to help put this puzzle together.
Absolutely. We've seen the impact Alohi Gilman has had, also a guy that the Ravens just traded for a couple weeks ago. But I do have the numbers up for just to kind of paint the picture of who Dre'Mont Jones is a little bit for people that don't know. I mean, this is a guy entering his 7th season in the NFL, 35 career sacks, knows how to get to the quarterback, Torrey. Also a guy that's played inside and on the edge, so he's bringing a lot to the Ravens defense. And then you bring up that sack total, 4.5 sacks so far this season, all of that coming in his last 4 games. So he's on a little bit of a sack streak as he comes to Baltimore.
Yeah, you need that, and that type of energy and momentum, you know he's going to be motivated. You mentioned year 7. There's something about that year 7 where you start to think about, hey, I may be down to my last payday here that can kind of help get me over the hump. So you're talking about a motivated player that's coming to a team that's extremely motivated to get this defense playing the way it's capable of and to go on a special run.
Traded for him on Monday. John Harbaugh says that he's going to be ready to go on Sunday. What kind of challenge is that for a guy to get up to speed and then also be ready to play and fit in the scheme in just a few days?
Yeah, well, he's healthy, so that's the number one thing. That gives you a great shot. But two, when it comes to the actual football aspect of it, football is not rocket science. Right? They wouldn't have picked a guy that doesn't fit what they do well schematically. So what it's going to take for him is like learning a different language. Your plays are the same. There's only a couple of ways you can play the defensive line. However, what Baltimore calls it may be a little bit different than what the Titans call it. And how do you fit in? So you talk the generic language, get it together, and you're talking about a pro. You have the time. They're not in class, right? They're studying. They're getting ready to go out. So he'll be able to digest the game plan, because even digesting the game plan is different than what a full playbook looks like over the course of the season.
Certainly going to be a relief to that outside linebacker room that just had 3 healthy guys in Kyle Van Noy, Mike Green, and David Ajabo. But now I want to switch gears and talk a little bit about some of the other trades that went on ahead of the trade deadline. You actually had a funny tweet talking about some of the blockbuster moves that went down. You said that folks toss around first-rounders like candy. Still can't believe the folks didn't want 2 firsts for Lamar Jackson. It's wild. I can't believe that either. But when you look at some of the moves that happened ahead of Tuesday's deadline, the Jets obviously at the center of those big blockbuster moves. Let's start with Sauce Gardner. You're talking about 2 firsts getting moved for a cornerback. I mean, this tells me that the Colts believe that they have a team that can win a Super Bowl, and they believe in Daniel Jones.
Absolutely. You have your guy that you believe can get you over the hump. Now, to go back to what the point of my tweet was, there's no better player in the NFL than Lamar Jackson. And we all understand the Ravens probably would have matched to whatever offer kind of came across the table. But my point is, everyone acts like that's just always a guaranteed thing. You put the deal out there, you offer it, and then you make them say no. When I think about a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars, or when I think about a team like before they drafted C.J. Stroud, when I think about other teams that need butts in the stands, and they need a superstar that can help transform their organization, not just on the field, but off the field as well. You mean to tell me there were teams, the Atlanta Falcons,
I was going to say the
that
Atlanta Falcons
didn't want Lamar Jackson, especially in Atlanta? Mike Vick was my favorite player. I was basically a Falcons fan, even though I only liked the individual players, basically because of Michael Vick. Lamar has that type of impact. So even the business side, forget who he is on the field, the best on the field at all times. He's a guy that literally could have made your organization a gazillion dollars, and no one threw 2 picks out. But we just watched guys that play defense. A corner, respect the Sauce, get traded for 2 first-round picks, and you didn't even want to think of one. Stop it.
And Sauce is a guy that just signed a $120 million extension a couple months ago.
The highest paid corner deal in the league, right? That would have been the same thing for Lamar Jackson. You sign him, give you 2 first-rounders, and now you have the highest paid quarterback in the league, and no one even attempted it. That collusion case has more evidence right here.
I do want to talk before we go to break about the other Jets superstar that went on the move, Quinnen Williams, signing with the Cowboys ultimately. I think there's a part of me, I'll put myself out there, that was thinking there was a chance that the Ravens would make a run at him. When we're talking about the uncertainty surrounding Nnamdi Madubuike, his future, we don't know what that looks like. Quinnen Williams is a guy that has been an All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, young. You know, if we're talking about needing to fill an immediate hole in the middle of your defense, this is a guy that, this is as close to a sure thing as you're going to get to a Nnamdi Madubuike, as opposed to, you know, some draft picks down the road. I mean, what do you make of, you know, the Ravens ultimately obviously not getting there?
Yeah, I think that was probably a little bit of wishful thinking on your part, because that's a lot of money.
They also don't come off first and second.
Yeah, you know, you're not going to give up your draft capitals when you drafted Nnamdi, right? When you drafted your star cornerback, when you drafted your star safety, the only person you really kind of traded for that was a star was Roquan, right? Everyone else you kind of developed. So those draft picks in Baltimore, everyone else, it's like some people that are listening, they're mad at franchise where they may stink at their picks. However, the Ravens do a great job of finding their guys. So I didn't think they would do it just simply because of the capital, but I understand the need. But for him to go to Dallas, one, I know he's excited because of the state taxes in comparison to up north and down there in Dallas, but he fits what they need. And I want to bring this point up because this is another thing that I've been talking about on social media, is the power of a competent GM. The Dallas Cowboys traded away one of the best pass rushers in the league, who was, by the way, the NFC Player of the Month in Micah Parsons, just to go and use those picks basically to trade for a defensive tackle who's in year 7. Like, be grateful for what you have here in Baltimore. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, you know, the rosters are set, and we're going to see if this team can continue to roll. And as we get ready for the playoffs, hopefully a little deep playoff run here in Baltimore. All right, it's time for a break. When we come back, we are going to look forward to Sunday, a tough test for this Ravens team as they get ready to head to Minnesota and face a tough Vikings team. We're going to break it all down when Purple Playbook continues.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. The winning prognosis, brought to you by LifeBridge Health. Care bravely.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook. Lamar Jackson was named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week after a 4-touchdown performance against Miami. This Sunday, going to be a much tougher opponent for Lamar. The Vikings pass rush is at the top of its game right now. They had 5 sacks in their win over the Lions last week. Defensive coordinator Brian Flores is known for his blitzes, something that Lamar struggled with early on in his career. But since 2024, Lamar leads the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns versus the blitz. And this season, no quarterback is better against the blitz than Lamar Jackson.
I try to focus on everything I could to get better, you know, and blitzes was one of them, because early on in my career, I believe we was getting sacked, like, you know, like crazy. And me just getting older, you know, older in my career, 8th year, it's like, man, we got to get the ball a lot, got to know where the protection, know where the hots are, just execute.
Torrey, I think everyone remembers that 2021 game in Miami. I believe it was a Thursday night where it just zero blitz all night and the Ravens just had no answer. Just how have you seen Lamar grow over that period of time to where he is now, where obviously he's just not even fazed by anything that defensive coordinators are throwing at him?
Yeah, I think he kind of alluded to it there, understanding where your answers are and actually getting to it. Earlier on, Lamar would kind of make things a little bit worse, right? And now He knows when to say die, right? When to end the play, not to extend it in a way that it puts the team in a tough position. And I think that's what you're able to see. It's clear, hey, we don't have a chance here. I'm getting rid of it. Or I'm quick trying to get out of the pocket. I can make a miss. He's not making those catastrophic decisions that puts you in second and super long or third and really long, right? He's making smart decisions, getting the ball out, and flat out making plays. So I think when you're confident in what you see, that came with time and growth. I think everyone always thinks like, well, what happened before? Was he not studying? Yeah, he was studying. Well, sometimes it takes for you to see it and understand it truly to really get it. I mean, I think he just grew with time, and as we can see, you can make an argument at any given time that he's the best quarterback in the game. I think he's the best player in football, but you can make a little bit of debate about how you like the quarterback position to be played. He's playing at an extremely high level, and he deserves flowers for his growth as a passer.
Is there something about him trusting his guys more too, and not feeling like he maybe has to shoulder everything and make every play? He can trust, the guys to run the right routes or to read the defense the way he's reading it, and you know what I mean, that relationship and that bond that they have.
Yeah, I think that matters when you talk about hots and sites, which what Lamar is referring to. When you're hot or there's a site, that means they have one more guy coming than you can block, which means someone has to either break their route off or whether it's built in, and some of that the coordinator has to make it match, right? Which is why oftentimes if they see a blitz, you'll see them check it to a different play. To now I know my answer is here. So for Lamar being comfortable in that, I'm sure in the past there were some times where they may have been a little late. And sometimes as coaches, you roll the dice on plays that may take a little bit too long to develop, and now you're short. But you got to remember, these defensive coordinators get paid as well. What we're seeing in the NFL right now with some of these stunts and these different type of blitzes, it's like guys are just getting creative and drawn on the board. So he'll be ready for it. I do think Coach Flores has been doing an amazing job up there in Minnesota. So Lamar's going to have to do a great job as well, just staying on track, not creating any big plays, because that passing game over there with J.J. McCarthy in that quarterback is not as prolific as it could be. So you don't want to give them opportunities to build their confidence, protect the ball, make plays, and take care of business on the road.
Yeah, Brian Flores, one of the best defensive coordinators in the game. But with Torrey, they're going to Minnesota for their second straight road game. A hostile environment, right? I mean, this stadium in U.S. Bank Stadium is one of the toughest places to win for road teams. Just what is a key for an offense going in there into that hostile environment to have success?
First of all, there's nothing like playing in a hostile environment. Like, you love it. And Minnesota has this Skol chant where they clap and they yell Skol, and it kind of reminds you of like a college environment type feel. It gets really loud, really cool to see. But you need to be able to quiet and tame that. This is a team that's very confident right now. They feel like they have the opportunity to flip their season and be one of the better teams in the league and win their division, all the hopeful things that everyone here dreams about, right? But when you talk about this team, they have a young quarterback that they're trying to build confidence around them. So the number one thing you have to do as an offense is to go in and hit them right in the mouth, right? Run the ball, be physical, right? With those pass rushers, of course they want to get you to third and long so they can go to work. They are really good. You have to give them their credit. But if you're able to really establish the run and take the energy out of the air early, and by the way, if you do make plays in the passing game, which this team will have the opportunity to do, that really takes the air out of the stadium. That's the biggest thing. You have to play the emotional game. Don't let those guys outside. I'm sure Zay Flowers will have a lot of screens this week. We're able to get the ball out quickly. You have to keep those guys on the corner, those defensive ends they have on those edges. You have to keep them tamed, and you're going to have to do that by screens and running right at them and seeing what happens.
You got to keep that offense quiet too. I mean, this is you kind of alluded to it. Those receivers out there, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, two of the best, probably the best duo. One of the best duos. Sorry, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. A little mental slip there for a second. But they have the ability to take the top off of a defense. But this Ravens secondary, they've really turned a corner. I mean, talking about Nate Wiggins playing at a high level, Marlon Humphrey playing at a high level, and then obviously with Alohi Gilman, Kyle Hamilton, the way they're able to mix and match. Chidobe Awuzie also playing pretty well over the past couple of weeks. Just how do you see that matchup going when we're talking about the Ravens defense going up against this Vikings offense?
Man, the same way we're talking about what Lamar has to do versus Brian Flores, different blitzes, we're going to have to see the same thing out of this Ravens defense with their young quarterback in Minnesota. He's a solid player, but he is not quite there yet. And you have to make sure that you're taking full advantage of it and keeping him rattled. He isn't a guy that goes out and throws for 300, 400 yards. He kind of just takes what's there. He's still young. He's still developing. And that's the kind of game you need out of him. You don't want him to come out having a confident career-high game. That's just not who he's been so far as a young passer. So you want to keep him off balance, make him run. He had a really good run last week where he's super confident. I watched a little video. He's talking about his swag and how he's a different guy on game day, and that confidence comes out. When you have emotional players like that, you want to make sure you use their emotions against them. So take the air out of the stadium early and make sure you're hitting him constantly.
And that's the perfect segue to the break, because we're going to talk about J.J. McCarthy's alter ego when we come back. More Purple Playbook coming up after a quick break.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. The Bottom Line, brought to you by M&T Bank.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook. It's time for something or nothing. I'm going to throw out a couple topics. Tori, you tell me if it's something or nothing. Unfortunately, we got to start with some injury news here. Jaden Daniels dislocated elbow, going to be out for the foreseeable future here. Dislocated that in the Seahawks game last week. Commanders were down 38-7 when Daniels got hurt. After the game, Dan Quinn, their head coach, was saying there was never a discussion about taking Daniels out of the game. Is that something or nothing to you?
I think there's nothing. I think it's one of those situations where it's unfortunate that it happened, that he got hurt. But listen, there's been plenty of times I've been in a game with the starting quarterback and we are getting waxed, and you wish they would take you out of the game to let this end and run the clock like it's youth football. But unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. You want to make sure you try to continue to fight, want to make sure you try to finish on a high note. But do I understand that the game was not going to be won? Absolutely. But it's also one of those things where it's not an uncommon thing. It's actually the norm to not have your quarterback in the game until maybe your last drive or two of it. So it's tough, that injury there, but I would say it's nothing. I think the fans.
The option play, though? The option play, you know?
So the issue was Jaden typically gets rid of the ball faster on that play, and he got a little bit greedy on it. Took a little bit longer, and now he braces his fall, gets hurt. But listen, that's football.
Yeah. Tough. All right, let's talk about another quarterback. Your guy, Joe Flacco, threw for career
Shout out to Joe.
470 yards against the Bears. I mean, this Flacco resurgence it keeps booming. The Flacco just rewriting history, something or nothing.
Hey, man, that's business as usual, man. So I'm going to say nothing. I'm not going to pump this up like it's something different. Joe, the Elite One Flacco, has been balling. I'm excited for him. You know, thought it was going to be there in Cleveland. Obviously, they traded him to a situation where he has the best receiver duo in the league, and he's out there going to work. But he's having fun. He's making plays, and the Bengals are still losing. So that's great for us here in the AFC North and all the fans of the Ravens. And for Joe, it's great for him to just have fun playing the game, because this could be his last ride.
Am I crazy? I was texting some of my buddies during that game. I don't want to see Flacco on Thanksgiving. You know, get well soon, Joe Burrow. Get well, Joe Burrow, because Joe, he's never out of a game. He's going to always just sling it, and
he's fearless.
Jamar Chase just always seems to go crazy in Baltimore. So I just that combination just on Thanksgiving, I just don't ruin my Thanksgiving, Joe. Please.
I agree with that. Do not, Joe Burrow, get healthy, brother.
Last one here. We're talking about J.J. McCarthy earlier. It's alter ego 9. He talks about it a little bit. He says that it's a product of the anger that he has inside of him after missing, the first 23 of the first 25 games of his career. This alter ego and playing with that emotion, something or nothing for you?
I think there's something to it. You need a little edge there, right? You're the underdog. He's a guy that they're considering a bust. He's not good enough and all these different things. So you need that type of edge to get going. I'd like to see him wait one more week before he decides to really click and get it going, because as of right now, he's very much a rookie quarterback on the field in the way he's performing, but he has made some plays with his legs, and it's been a big deal to his team. So you're definitely cheering for the young guy to do well. He wants it. I like to watch guys on the field, obviously watch how they play, but more than that, I like to see how their team responds to him. And the leadership and the fiery qualities that he has, you could tell he's a guy that guys in the locker room love and respect.
I was going to say, even that first game, I believe it was against Chicago, when things weren't going right in the first half, Justin Jefferson went up to him and still kind of gave him those confident words, and then he came back and balled out, and they came back and got the win there. So guys really are pouring into him.
Absolutely. And you don't do that with guys that you don't like. I've seen it.
That's not fake. You can't fake that.
You can't fake it. Not at all.
All right, we're going to wrap up the show. When we come back, we have more Purple Playbook after this.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. Now, WJZ's Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook as we wrap up the show. Torrey, I'm going to give you the floor here. Tell us about a sweepstakes that you're getting involved with for level 82.
Yeah, we talked about Thanksgiving. Well, we have to raise money for what we're doing with Level 82, and the Baltimore Ravens Boys and Girls Club is now open. Our charity initiatives, Thanksgiving drive, Christmas, tutoring, mentoring, the whole nine. We have to continue to raise funds. So we're going to we created a sweepstakes with 4 tickets to the Thanksgiving game, 4 pregame passes, so you can be on the field for warm-ups, and 4 passes to the world famous Jimmy's Famous Tailgate. So it's a great package for us. You can go and it's a click, say, pause your screen, hit the little QR code. But also you can go to my social media links at Torrey Smith on social media and get the link to it. But for $25 or whatever you want, you can get as many entries as you would love. And hopefully we see you on Thanksgiving, and I'll make sure I get to show everyone the cool stuff down on the field.
There we go. We've got the QR code on your screen. You can scan that, and our WJZ viewers, by scanning the code, will actually get 25% more entries by entering that way. So a really cool initiative there. And, I mean, you're right. I mean, we're down there every week. The Jimmy's does it right for the tailgate.
Jimmy's does it right, man. I had the opportunity to sneak by and saw you in action. You know, hide behind the camera there. But it's a fun event, and for us, it's grateful. Like, you're able to raise money for Level 82, but people are able to have a great experience watching the Ravens.
Thanksgiving, prime time, Joe Flacco, Ravens. I mean, it's all, and Level 82, what you guys are doing there too, and just for the kids in Baltimore, just obviously a great combination right there.
That's the family.
All right, that is going to do it for this week's Purple Playbook. For Torrey Smith, I'm Alex Glaze. We do this show every week. The Ravens looking to keep this thing rolling, climb back into playoff contention. Got a long road ahead, but all that matters is Sunday. Just go one game at a time. One game at a time. We'll be back next week. Have a great night.